I never thought a simple faded denim jacket could unravel my entire world. But that's exactly what happened on that sweltering evening in Red Rock, Arizona.
I'm Emily Carter.
34. A fifth-grade teacher at Sunset Elementary, where the kids' laughter echoes off the red canyon walls that surround our small western town. Life here moves at the pace of a lazy desert wind, predictable, dusty, and mostly peaceful. I hike the trails on weekends with my sister Laura, who's always been my fierce guardian despite being 4 years younger at 30, climbing the ranks as a marketing whiz at Desert Peak Advertising. Our mom, Patricia, 62, and battling a weak heart from years of ranch work, leans on me for those quiet Sunday suppers where we swap stories over homemade chili. She doesn't know half the battles I've fought to shield her from worry. And then there's my best friend Jordan, a night shift nurse at Canyon View Hospital, who I've known since we bonded over coffee at a community health fair 5 years back. Jordan's the one who saw it all unfold that night, through the glow of a FaceTime call that was meant to be about nothing more than planning a backyard barbecue. I've always been the steady one in Red Rock, the teacher who lingers after class to tutor the stragglers, the one baking apple pies for PTA meetings, the woman who keeps her classroom as orderly as the grid of our town's sun-baked streets. No drama.
No fuss.
My principal nods approvingly at my reliability, but saves the Teacher of the Year, nods for the flashier types with their interactive whiteboards and viral lesson plans. That jacket? It was Dad's last gift before he passed in 2018. A rugged denim piece he'd worn on cattle drives. Deep blue once, with sturdy snaps that clicked like a promise. I've thrown it in the wash 100 times, watching the color bleed away to a soft, weathered gray blue. But it still feels like his hug on chilly mornings. The trouble started small, like a distant thunderstorm over the mesas. First pullover was back in March 2022. Officer Brennan flagging me down on Route 89 for a faulty taillight that turned out fine after he rummaged through my trunk, finding only stacks of spelling quizzes and a sack of fresh oranges from the farmer's market. He grumbled a warning and drove off, leaving me rattled but silent. Then September 2023. In the school lot after a late conference, 2 cops, neither was Hayes, cornered me, demanding why a lady like me was out in this rough area at night. I gestured to the school sign, explained my job, but they frisked me anyway, hands too rough, before muttering to scram. My heart hammered, but I swallowed it down. April 2024 brought the third stop. A license plate scanner pinged my old Ford as stolen at a gas station off the interstate. 3 cruisers boxed me in, lights flashing like wildfire. I stood frozen, hands up, as they admitted the glitch. Officer Ramirez actually muttered sorry. The others just vanished into the night, leaving me trembling by my pump. But June 12th, 2024, at 10:45 p.m., that's when Officer Travis Hayes shattered the fragile piece I'd clung to. I'd swung by Mesa Spirits for a bottle of Cabernet, Laura's favorite, for her birthday bash the next day. The store's neon buzzed under the starlit sky, closing time looming as I paid and hurried out, keys gripped tight like every woman learns in these wide-open spaces. The lot was dim, just one sputtering lamp casting long shadows. Then, a siren hooped once, headlights blinding me like high noon. "Freeze!" boomed a voice over the speaker. I halted, the wine bag swinging heavy. Hayes stepped out, hand on his holster, his buzz cut and stiff stance screaming authority. I'd heard whispers about him in town, Red Rock's tough guy, always itching for a confrontation. "Turn around slow," he ordered. I did, pulse racing. "What's in the bag?" "Wine for my sister's birthday." "Officer." My voice held steady.
Barely.
"Set it down." I placed it gently on the cracked pavement. Back away from the truck. 3 steps back. What's going on? Did I break a law? No answer. His gaze locked on my jacket, narrowing like a hawk spotting prey. Where'd you get that rag? From my dad, it's old. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Without thinking, I reached. Hands up, he barked, yanking his Glock free. It's my phone, I gasped. Drop the jacket and kneel, now. The jacket slipped from my shoulders as I sank to the gravel, knees grinding into sharp stones. The phone kept ringing. Hayes snatched it, glancing at the screen. Who's Jordan? My friend. A nurse at Canyon View. He answered, switching to speaker. Emily, you okay? We still on for that grill out? Jordan's voice cut through the tension. This is Officer Hayes. Red Rock PD. Your friend's detained. Silence. Then Jordan sharp. For what? Let me see her. Hayes flipped to video. Jordan's face popped up, eyes widening in horror. What the, Emily? Why's he got a gun on you? Please. Officer. I pleaded, voice cracking now. It's just an old jacket. He pressed closer, barrel cold against my forehead. This matches the Desert Viper's colors, faded blue to blend in. The Vipers were a gang from Phoenix, spilling into our borders. Their blue sharp and electric. Nothing like my washed-out denim.
No.
It's faded from years of wear, my dad's. Lies, he snarled, thumbing the safety off. The click echoed like thunder. Fear clawed my throat. But in that frozen moment, I swore I'd expose him, every overreach, every shadowed threat hiding behind the badge. Jordan's voice blasted. Officer. She's unarmed. I'm recording this. Hayes faltered, eyes darting. The gun dipped. Police matter, back off. I'm dialing 911, Jordan shot back. Hayes's jaw clenched. He holstered, grabbed the jacket, squinting under the light. Up, he grunted, tossing it back. Warning, we're cracking down on gang signs. Ditch that thing. I rose on wobbly legs, snatching my phone. Jordan's whisper. Got it all. Emily. Tears stung as Hayes drove off. Jordan arrived minutes later in their Jeep, bundling me in. He could have ended you over fabric, they said, voice trembling. But he didn't, I murmured, resolve hardening like desert clay. And now we've got evidence. The next morning, I called out sick from school, first time in years, and dove into action from my modest Adobe-style home overlooking the canyons. That jacket wasn't just cloth, it was my line in the sand. I backed up Jordan's 12-minute video to encrypted clouds. Time-stamped clear as day, me kneeling. Hayes's face twisted in aggression. The gun's menace. Every word etched in digital stone. Public records on Hayes painted a grim picture. 7 complaints in 4 years. All buried. Excessive force. Profiling. The works. None stuck. Thanks to the department's tight shield. I reached out to Lawson and Reed, a Phoenix firm specializing in civil rights and police accountability cases, known for taking on the badges in the Southwest. They slotted me in for June 15th. But I needed more. Hayes's dashcam footage. Patrol cars in Arizona auto record on siren activation, stored 90 days per state policy. And 911 logs. Same deal. I combed my contacts. Ramirez, who'd apologized that gas station night. Caldwell, who did school safety talks. Sergeant Maria Valdez, who jump-started my truck once at the feed store, her eyes weary when chatting about problem officers. I emailed Valdez via the department site, pitching a chat on school PD partnerships. She bit, suggesting a neutral spot, a coffee joint in nearby Sedona. Valdez, mid-40s, sharp ponytail and vigilant gaze. Showed in civvies but carried that cop aura, back to the wall, scanning the room like a coyote. "Carter," she greeted. Firm handshake. I cut the chase, sliding my phone with the video paused. "This is why." She watched stone-faced, the kneel, the gun, the faded jacket farce. Video done. She set the phone down. "What are you after?" "Accountability. Real change." She nodded slow. Hayes is eyeing Sergeant Stripes, ceremony August 5th at Phoenix Civic Center. Bigwigs. Press. I caught the hint. Bad timing for scandals. Dashcam's role on any light or siren, she added casually. 90-day hold. 911 too. Her eyes met mine. "You're not the troublemaker type." "Not until I had to be." Respect glinted. Hayes skates on favors from higher-ups. I can't help direct.
But
Things surface sometimes. She left. We never met. 3 days on. An unmarked envelope hit my mailbox. USB with dashcam vid from Hayes's cruiser. Same angle. Same damning proof. And a 911 audio. Emergency. Witnessing an officer gunning an unarmed woman at Mesa Spirits.
Hayes.
Red Rock PD. She's kneeling. Why? Jordan's voice.
Urgent.
Holding the line till backup rolled. Though Hayes had backed off by then. A week later. Another envelope. Internal memos. Hayes's email. March 2024. Heads up. Desert Vipers fading blues to dodge radar. Flag all washed out denim for stops. Especially near hot spots like Mesa Strip. Bingo. Lawson and Reed salivated over it, filing a civil suit on contingency against Hayes and the department for rights violations. Assault. Holding fire till the moment struck. I kept my routine ironclad. Wrapped the school year. Grilled with Laura, dodging her you seem off probes. Suppers with Mom, hiding the storm. Only Jordan knew the blueprint. We mapped contingencies over late-night strategy sessions. I shifted $50,000 from my side gig, Desert Scholars Tutoring. My secret online empire started in 2021. Now pulling $80,000 yearly with 25 remote experts to a legal fund. Folks thought I scrimped on teacher pay. Truth was, I'd socked away $220,000 in investments. Tech-wise, I'm no slouch. Once salvaged hacked home cams after a break-in. Impressing the locals. Updated my will. Drafted a media statement. Night before the big day. I laid out a simple sundress. Low heels and Dad's jacket. Folded neat. Phoenix Civic Center buzzed with polished brass and starched uniforms under bright chandeliers. Tables gleamed white. Centered with red, white, blue blooms. Red Rock PD pride. I slipped in early via a benevolent fund donation from my business. Tote hiding the jacket under a light sweater. Seated back with retirees and a counselor. Blending like sagebrush. Media huddled sidelines, local affiliates. Papers here for promotions. Hayes's included. Valda stood rigid in dress blues. Our glances brushed. Blink. Ceremony kicked at 7 sharp. Chief's spiel on duty.
Valor.
Officers pinned one by one. I texted Jordan. Go time? Reply. Locked. At 7:40. I ducked to the lobby. Meeting Jordan by AV control. The tech. Dad of a kid I'd prepped for scholarships. Whispered. 5 minutes. Ushering us in. I swapped sweater for jacket. Set. Back in. Chief lauded Hayes. Service.
Grit.
Pleased to promote Officer Travis Hayes to Sergeant. Applause thundered as Hayes stepped up. Then screens flickered. Jordan's video blasted. Kneel. Gun.
Dialogue.
Room hushed. Dashcam rolled next. Then 911 audio. Unarmed. Why kneel her? Memos flashed last. Screens blinked. I rose, striding the aisle in Dad's jacket. That's me in the video. Emily Carter, teacher at Sunset. This jacket's my dad's, not gang colors. Hayes blanched. Fake. Doctored. Wildest stepped up. I've seen your playbook.
Hayes.
This is legit. Flashes popped. Chaos erupted. Suit filed. $5 million for accountability, I called. No one kneels for faded cloth. The room exploded like a dust storm, shouts. Phones thrusting. Hayes hustled off stage by stone-faced colleagues. My attorney from Lawson and Reed materialized at my side, Jordan flanking the other. We pushed through the melee to the plaza steps for the presser they'd orchestrated. Microphones clustered under the desert stars. I laid it bare. Not just that June night, but the pattern. Stops. Frisks. The fear woven into Red Rock's fabric for folks like me.
Just trying to live quiet.
This isn't revenge, I said, voice steady as the canyons. It's a call for better training, oversight, humanity behind the badge. Cameras rolled. Questions flew. By midnight, clips hit national feeds. Faded jacket justice trended by dawn. Red Rock PD's statement dropped noon. Officer Hayes placed on leave. Investigation underway. But I pushed deeper. The suit alleged Fourth Amendment violations, unreasonable search, excessive force, clear under Arizona law and federal precedents like Graham v. Connor. Victim surfaced. A ranch hand frisked over suspicious boots. A Navajo artist profiled at a market. We amended the complaint, building a class action vibe. DA opened a criminal probe for assault. Civil rights infringement. My phone blew up. Interviews, rallies, even reform consultants from LA. Sunset Elementary backed me publicly. Principal vowed my spot safe. Tougher was Mom over tea. I spilled the incident, my tutoring empire, the plan. Her hand trembled on her cup. You risked everything. To protect us all, I said, squeezing hers. Dad would have charged in. Tears welled. Scared me half to death.
But proud.
Emily, Laura hooped. You're a force. Turn this into something big, a campaign? Her words sparked. Canyon Justice Initiative. My nonprofit for profiling victims. Seeded with $100,000 from my savings. Donations trickled, then flooded as the story spread. Desert scholars boomed. Parents clamored for the jacket teacher. Revenue hit $250,000. Hiring more. Settlement talks heated. Department offered reforms. Mandatory body cams. Arizona's push post-Floyd. Civilian review boards. Bias training per state guidelines. We inked at $2.8 million, most to the initiative. Hayes personally liable for a chunk. But here's where it turned humane. Not just vengeance. Hayes didn't vanish into obscurity. Criminal charges loomed. But I advocated diversion, community service, counseling over jail, citing restorative justice models from Phoenix courts. He resigned. Wife left. Took a warehouse gig in Tucson. One evening, weeks post-settlement,
My doorbell rang.
Hayes stood there.
Hutton Hunt.
No uniform, just a man hollowed by regret. Carter. Emily.
Can we talk?
I hesitated, then nodded him in. Over coffee on my porch. Stars wheeling above. He broke. I was wrong. Scared. Pressured, gang busts were my ticket up. But that night, I saw my daughter and you later. Faded jacket? Stupid excuse. Tears tracked his dust-lined face.
I'm sorry.
Truly. I didn't forgive easy. Pain lingered like cactus spines, but I saw the human cracks, burnout from border patrols, Unchecked biases from academy days. Apologies a start, I said. But make it mean something. Volunteer with my initiative, talk to rookies about mistakes. He nodded, shoulders sagging. I will. It wasn't absolution, but a bridge. Valdez got the sergeant nod. Implementing changes, de-escalation workshops, community forums. Mom's heart steadied with less fret. We hiked short trails. Her laughing freer. Laura nailed VP at her firm, pitching empathy-driven ads inspired by my stand. Back in class that fall, my kids sensed the shift, the once quiet MS. Carter now wove lessons on fairness, courage amid Canyon's history of injustice.
Stand tall.
Even when winds push, I'd say, pointing to maps of old trails. December 2nd, 6 months post-incident. Canyon Justice awarded its first grant, $75,000 to a family hit by wrongful stop. Funding education. Small venue, town hall under bright lights, but impact rippled. I wore Dad's jacket. Its fate a badge of resilience. A jacket doesn't define you, I told the crowd. But rising after fall? That's power. That night, Hayes showed, awkward. But there, sharing his story in a quiet circle post-event.
No fanfare.
Just raw truth. I hung the jacket later. Its blue glowing soft in moonlight. Revenge?
Nah.
That's fire that burns out. Healing builds oases in the desert, lessons in empathy, where even the fallen find paths back. Life in Red Rock settled into a new rhythm. Like the monsoon rains reshaping the arroyos, destructive at first, then nurturing growth. My days blended the familiar with the transformed, mornings grading papers under the warm glow of my classroom's desert-themed posters. Afternoons juggling Desert Scholars expansion. We'd gone national, partnering with tutors in Nevada and New Mexico. Revenue steady at $300,000 as word spread of the teacher who stood up. The initiative thrived too, workshops on rights, legal aid for stops, even a hotline staffed by volunteers, including reformed officers like Hayes, who showed weekly. His stories disarming rookies. One wrong pull can shatter lives. Check your biases at the door. Mom blossomed, with funds from the settlement easing her medical bills. She volunteered at the senior center, teaching crochet classes with a vigor I hadn't seen since Dad's days. You've given me peace, Emily, she'd say over our Sunday enchiladas, her eyes clear of that old worry. Laura, ever the strategist, turned my tale into a TEDx talk pitch, me on stage in Phoenix, jacket on, weaving drama of that night into calls for compassion. Not just expose the bad, I emphasized, but mend the brakes. Applause thundered. Views hit millions, drawing donors from Hollywood to Houston. Hayes's path crossed mine often now, not as foe, but uneasy ally. Criminal case diverted. Probation. Mandatory therapy. 200 hours community service with us. He spoke at schools. Voice raw. I pointed a gun over fear.
Not facts.
Don't repeat my regret. Kids grilled him. One boy, eyes wide. What if it was your mom? Hayes paused, throat working. I'd want justice, and a chance to fix it. It humanized him, chipped at the badge's armor. Valdez mentored him quietly. Her promotions sparking department shifts, quarterly audits, partnerships with Navajo Nation leaders to address cultural blind spots in our border town. But shadows lingered. Not every stop ends in reform. I fielded calls from others, migrants frisked at checkpoints, locals profiled on dusty roads. One case hit close. A young teacher like me, pulled over for faded bandana, mistaken as gang tie. We sued. Won quick reforms. My own scars? Nightmares of cold steel faded, replaced by purpose. Jordan and I hiked more, their support unwavering. You turned terror into triumph. Over canyon rims. We'd plot next steps, expanding the initiative statewide. Spring brought a pivotal moment. State legislature hearing on police reform bills. Inspired partly by Faded Jacket. I testified in Dad's jacket. Voice dramatic yet measured. That night, I knelt in fear. But standing brought light, empathy over enmity. Hayes joined, his admission drawing gasps. I was the problem, now I'm part of the fix. Bill passed. Enhanced training. Victim funds. Media dubbed it Carter's Law. Personal wins mounted. Mom's checkup clean. Laura's engagement to a kind rancher. My business hitting $400,000 with grants for underserved kids. Yet the true lesson crystallized in quiet acts. Hayes invited me to his daughter's school play, awkward peace offering. Watching her beam on stage, he whispered, "Thanks for the second chance." I nodded. We all deserve one. If we earn it. It wasn't erasure, but evolution, drama yielding to depth. By summer 2025, the initiative hosted its first retreat, victims and officers dialoguing in Sedona's Red Rocks. Stories flowed, tears, laughs, bonds forming like unexpected springs. I facilitated. Jacket on, pain divides, understanding unites. Hayes shared last. I nearly destroyed a life. Now I rebuild. Applause rose. Not for heroes, but humans mending. As the retreat wrapped, a sense of closure washed over me like the rare desert bloom after rain, fragile yet profound. Red Rock felt reborn. Fewer complaints. More community barbecues, with PD mingling sans tension. My classroom buzzed with empowered kids. One girl, inspired, started a fairness club, echoing my lessons. Stand for what's right, even if your knees shake. Desert scholars crossed $500,000. Scholarships flowing to border kids dreaming big. The initiative? A beacon. Chapters sprouting in Tucson, Vegas, training thousands, healing rifts. Mom threw a family gathering that fall, her heart strong. Toasting. To Emily, who turned a jacket into justice. Laura beamed, her wedding plans weaving in reform themes. Jordan, ever loyal, quipped, from FaceTime hero to full-time legend. Hayes attended. Family in tow, his daughter shyly thanked me. Dad's better now. We shared nods, no fanfare.
Just quiet respect.
The light lesson? Life's fades jackets. Trusts, hearts, don't define endings. They invite rebirth through empathy, where revenge bends to restoration. In that western expanse, under endless skies, I learned, kneel once, rise forever, building bridges over chasms. Dad's jacket hangs now, a talisman of transformation, whispering, heal, don't just win.